Hello guys, this is Longview once again. I'm just redoing the installation video for Vanilla Artix because there are a few things that have changed since the last time I made the installation video. Just a quick note, I will be using an UEFI installation, so if you don't have UEFI, please consult the Artix installation wiki. Alright, now getting straight to it. First, you want to go to the main Artix Linux website, which is artixlinux.org. Then you want to go to the top right hand corner here and click on download. Then you want to go ahead and download your flavor of Artix Linux. And if you go ahead and choose the ones that already come with a desktop environment, it'll just lead you to a Calamaris guided installer and it'll just be easy going from there. But I am focused on the changes that have been made to the installation of Vanilla Artix, and I will be using OpenRC as well. Go ahead and select on OpenRC ISO, let it download, and then once you have that downloaded, go ahead and pull out your ISO burner of any type and use that to burn it into a USB drive. Once you have that drive, power off your computer, plug it in, turn it on, and then go into your BIOS and then change your boot priority so your PC will boot into the ISO. So once you have that, you will be met with this screen right here, which is the ISO that we are going in, and we're going to be going into this live environment. Once you're on this screen, you're going to want to go ahead and go to from CD DVD ISO. And once everything is loaded, you're just going to have to log in using Artix. After that's done, you go ahead and type in SU to switch to root. If you want to set your keyboard layout, now is a good time. Go ahead and use this command, ls-R user share kbd and then key maps. We should go ahead and bring out everything. Once you go ahead and find the file you're looking for, what you want to do is then type in this command, load keys, type in the file name, but do not add the extensions. What I'm using is just a regular US QWERTY keyboard, so I go ahead and do that, and you should be done. Just know that this method only works until the reboot, and you would have to go ahead and edit your key maps configuration into your installed system, which is located in /etc/conf.d/keymaps. Next, we will be partitioning our drive. Go ahead and type in lsblk to see what drives we have installed or drives that we have in our system. And right now we currently have SDA. Loop 0 and SR0 are just our live environment right now. So just focus on SDA. Using lsblk, this determines what drives and partitions we want to go ahead and use for our root, boot, and home directories. This can be a really useful command if you have multiple drives, so that way you have an idea on where you're gonna put what. Alright, now we're going to write our partitions into our drives, and to do that we are actually going to type in cfdisk /dev/sda. Go ahead and type that. Now it's asking for our label type. It won't show for a lot of people, but if it's your first time using a drive, it's going to show this. So we're going to be using GPT, and now we are going to be separating or partitioning all of our drives. So now that free space is highlighted, we are going to select on new. All right, and then we are going to type in 500 capital M for 500 megabytes, enter, and as you can see, it went ahead and partitioned and gave it a name, which is /dev/sda1, which is what we need. Now you're going to go ahead and highlight free space, just go down on the down arrow, and then new again, partition size, you're going to erase all that. And then I'm just going to go ahead and put in 20 gigabytes for my root. If you have 2 drives, you could go ahead and make the root partition just take up the rest of it. Right now, I have my boot and my root, and with my home directory, I'm going to make the rest of it go into home. Alright, so now that we have that done, we are going to go to write. Go ahead and press enter. We go ahead and type in yes. Alright, the partition table has been altered. That is good. Now we go to quit, and we go back into our bash. Now we are going to type in lsblk to go ahead and look at all of our partitions now. As you can see, SDA now has SDA 1, 2, and 3, which will be our boot, root, and home partition. Swap, if you want to go ahead and add swap, I suggest you go ahead and go into the Artix installation wiki, because I don't use swap, mostly because if I'm ever at a point where I need to use swap, I'm already fucked. So there's no point in me having a swap file. Anyways, now that we have that, now it's time for us to go ahead and format our drives. So now we will use this command makefs. We're going to format our boot partition first. So we're going to do fat capital F32 / dev / SDA1. Alright, that is done. Next, we are going to do makefs at ext4, and we're going to do that to both SDA2 and 3. So dev SDA2. Alright, and then SDA3. Alright, so now that that's done, we are going to mount our drives. So we go ahead and mount dev SDA2, because we have to mount our root partition first before we mount our boot or our home. So we're going to mount that to MNT. After that's done, we are going to make dir MNT boot, make dir /MNT /home. Alright, now that we've made our boot and home directories, we are now going to mount dev /SDA1 into /mount /boot. And then we are going to mount dev SDA3 to /mount /home. Alright, now that we've done that, we can go ahead and check our progress here. We go ahead and type in lsblk. And we can go ahead and see that we have mounted SDA1 to boot, SDA2 is our root, and SDA3 is our home. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and check to see if we have an internet connection. We are going to ping Artix artixlinux.org. Alright, since we're actually getting things back, since we actually have a ping, we're going to go ahead and Control-C out of it. And now we are going to install our base system. And in order to do that, we are going to use this command, base strap into our mount. And we're going to be installing these packages and meta packages, which is base devel, OpenRC. Now here's one of the changes since the last one. elogin d-openrc. Now we'll also do Linux firmware. We'll also use our text editor of choice. I use Vim, you can use Nano or whatever you're comfortable with. And we will also be adding our microcode. If you have an Intel CPU, you're going to type in Intel/Ucode. If you have an AMD microcode like I do, you're going to type in AMD/Ucode. Or dash AMD-Ucode. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and press enter. And now the reason why you have to go ahead and do the elogin d/openrc now is because if you just try to do it without it, what's going to happen is that Basetrap is going to try to install elogin d-d init, and it won't install. It'll give you a warning saying that dinit conflicts with OpenRC, and it's just going to stop the installation there. It took me a little bit the first time I went ahead and reinstalled Artix, but luckily the information's out there. So I had to go ahead and put elogin d OpenRC, and now it works. Alright, so I am going to go ahead and meet you at the end of this installation. Alright, so we are now here at we just got done base strapping. So now we are going to generate our FS tab. Type in FS tab gen capital U /MNT. We're gonna append MNT etc FS tab. And that is going to create our FS tab file, and then we are going to go into our Artix installation using Artix root and into the mount. And now we are in. We are in the system that we are trying to install. So now that we're in here, first we have to go ahead and set up our system clock. If you don't know or are unsure of your time zone, you can go ahead and type in cd user share zone info. Alright, and then we're gonna type in ls. Alright, so these are gonna be all of our folders. Here, let me go ahead and do something real quick. I'm gonna cd back into my root, then do bash, then that's gonna tell us where we're at right now. So I'm gonna do that again. And zone info. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and cd into my region. cd America, which is the capital. I'm gonna go ahead and do ls to look for the city that's in my time zone, which should be New York. So now that I have my region and my city, I'm gonna go ahead and do cd back into my root. And once you have yours as well, you're gonna do the same. Then you're gonna go ahead and type in ln-sf user share zone info, and then your region, and then your city. You can always also press tab to autocomplete what you're typing down if the file does exist. If the file directly exists in wherever you're at. Alright, so now once you do that, we are in this same command still. We are going to type in etc local time. Now that we've done that, we are going to do hw clock dash dash sys2hc and then hit enter, and that should sync up our clocks. Now that we've installed our text editor of choice, we're going to use that to go ahead and generate our locales. Go ahead and type in your editor of choice, and we are going to go into /etc/locale.gen. I'm gonna have to go ahead and give it a minute. This VM is freezing all over the place. Alright, so now that we got that, we are going to scroll down to the language because it's organized by language first. And we are going to uncomment the language that we are going to be generating. Now that we've done that, we are going to save and quit. Everything's been written. And now we want to go ahead and set our locale system-wide. So we are going to use our editor into etc locale.conf. Alright, and now we are going to type this. We are going to type in export lang in all caps equals quotations en underscore capital US dot capital UTF dash 8 quotation mark that. We're gonna go over to the next line. We are also going to type in export in lowercase. Then the rest of this is all caps, so lc underscore collate equals quotation capital C quotation. Then we are going to right quit, and our locales are set. Next, we are going to go ahead and install our bootloader and our network manager. So now we will go ahead and type in pacman -s grub EFI bootmgr network manager dash OpenRC network dash manager dash applet cups dash OpenRC OS dash prober if you're dual booting. Alright, DHCPCD, and then Linux headers, or Linux dash headers. Okay. Alright, and then I'll go ahead and get back to you after all of this is done. Alright, so now that the installation is finished, let's go ahead and look into setting up Grub. So, Now, in order to finish this off, because we are at the last legs of setting up our installation, we are going to type in grub install dash dash target equals x86 underscore 64 dash EFI space dash dash EFI dash directory equals slash boot space. Then we're going to do dash bootloader dash ID equal grub. What? Invalid option B. Is this supposed to be another flag? Okay, there we go. So it's dash dash bootloader. That's odd. EFI variables are not supported on this system. I guess that's just me using... I do have a boot partition. What are they talking about? Oh, grub install x86-EFI. Okay, yeah. So we are going to be using that. Is it because I'm using a virtual machine that it won't install? Maybe. That may be the case. Alright, so we're just gonna go ahead and just move on. Gonna do grub. Then after grub goes ahead and installs on the system, after you use that command, you are going to use grub-mkconfig-o. That's going to go into /boot/grub/grub.cfg. All right. So once that's done, we are going to now focus on making our user and adding that user into the wheel group. So that way we can go ahead and modify our sudo config file so anyone in the wheel group can use sudo on our main machine. So what we are going to do now is we're going to use this command user add dash m capital G wheel, and then the username we are going to be using. Once you go ahead and do that, the new user will be added into our wheel group. Now we will go ahead and add a password for this user. We're going to do passwd, type in our username. Then we will make a password for this user. Alright, and now we are going to make our root password. So all we have to do is just type passwd, and this is the password for our root user. Okay, now what we're going to want to do is we are going to go ahead and type in editor equals our text editor of choice vi sudo. And then we would go down, all the way down, and you're gonna find this %wheel all equals all. You're gonna want to go ahead and uncomment this, so that way everybody in the wheel group can go ahead and use sudo. So once that's done, we are going to save and quit. Now, all we have to do is just add a hostname. So now we are going to use our text editor to go into etc hostname. We're going to go ahead and type in what we want. I'm just going to use Artix as mine. Right quit. And after that, we are going to edit our host file. So we're going to use our text editor to go into etc hosts. All right, let's go ahead and make a new line. So what we're going to type in is 127.0.0.1 tab localhost 127.0. Wait, no, I'm wrong here. ::1 localhost, that is our IPv6 address. Make a new line, then 127.0.1.1. And right here, we are going to put in our host name, artix.localdomain. Gonna tab again, Artix. And then we are going to right quit. Before I get out of this file, quick note, if your PC does have a permanent ID, you should use that rather than 127.0.0.1. Alright, next, since we're using OpenRC, we are also going to be using our editor to go into roots etc conf.d hostname. And in here, we're going to change this to our username. Then we are going to save and quit. All right. We're done with our hostname. Now we're going to go ahead and install some more components of our system. So right now we are going to do pacman-s xorg xf86-video dash. I have an AMD graphics card, so I'm going to do AMD GPU. If you are using an Intel integrated graphics card, you're going to do xf86-video-intel. And if you have an NVIDIA graphics card, all you have to do is just type in NVIDIA. But I have an AMD, so we're going to do AMD GPU. We're going to install our display manager, which I'm going to be using KDE, so SDDM OpenRC. Now we select enter. We're going to install all of it. We're going to do world, GNU free fonts. Alright, and I'll go ahead and get back to you after this is done. Okay, now that we've gone ahead and done that, what's next on the list is we now have to go ahead and do this. I just wish this would stop freezing all the time. There you go. RC update, we're going to add SDVM to our defaults. I think it's just one S. Let's go ahead and do that. Alright, it's added to our defaults. We're going to RC update add RC update add network manager, taking care to capitalize the N and the M. We go ahead and press enter, and it should just go into sysinit by itself. Okay, and then now last but not least, we are going to do RC update cups D into our default. And finally, we are going to be adding our desktop environment with pacman-s plasma, then KDE applications. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm just going to do KDE system meta. Pipewire, GStreamer, system cronny. Alright, and I will get back to you after this again. Alright, so now that it's finished installing, all we have to do now is we go to exit to go back into the shell, exit to go back into our live environment, and from here we go ahead and type in reboot. Oh yeah, I gotta go ahead and do some extra things here. I will go ahead and be right back with you. Alright, so now that we rebooted, it booted up into our installed system. As you can see, mine is a little different than what yours will be because I just found, I think, not that I just found out, I think that I couldn't install Grub properly because the virtual machine is using MS-DOS, I believe. I'm not too sure. All I know is that when I went ahead and installed the Plasma ISO, it said it's using MS-DOS. So the only thing I couldn't do properly was the Grub install, which is why Grub wouldn't install properly. So I went ahead and do this as a substitute for the real thing. Just note that if you do follow my directions on the guide and you do it on hardware, it's going to come up properly. Everything is going to work. All the commands will work. Alright, and I will also be using this little ISO to go ahead and show how to do other things that have changed over time. So, thank you for watching this guide on how to install Vanilla Arch. Thank you very much, and you guys have a nice day. Thank you.